Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. This is a very special occasion for one of our colleagues that had retired from the board, so I'm going to be doing the welcome of the family. As I name off the family members, I would like to have them stand up, and then no clapping until after you give them a warm welcome, okay? So, family members, Matt Ryan. Just keep standing now, don't sit. I know you don't take orders well. Anyway, his wife Teresa, don't hold your applause, hold your applause. Sean and wife Rebecca. Tess and husband Ecuador. Jarrett Ryan. And his grandchildren Daniel. Please stand. Neymar. Finian. Donovan. Ava. Jovi. And Emmett. Yay! Thank you for giving Matt and his family a warm welcome. So therefore, I just wanted to read some comments that I felt that was appropriate for this occasion here. Former Supervisor Matt Ryan and had many achievements and accolades during his 27 years as a member of the Coconino County Board of Supervisors. While he played a role in several county achievements such as the Kachina Village Improvement Project and the Dark Skies Ordinance, one area where Supervisor Ryan was extremely dedicated was making sure the local government had a leading role in managing and maintaining our public lands and increasing the acreage of preserved natural areas for residents and visitors alike to enjoy for generations to come. Prior to his service on the board, Coconino County had only 3 public parks, no trails, no county-maintained open space. Thanks to Matt Ryan, for spearheading the Coconino Parks and Open Space Initiative. Today, Coconino County boasts over 2,000 acres of preserved open space with 40 miles of maintained public trails. The county has also entered into multiple conservation easements with landowners to further preserve our 7,000 acres of natural spaces. The county has expanded Fort Tuthill County Park by over 270 acres and added outdoor recreational facilities like playgrounds, golf course, bike park, Flagstaff Extreme, and of course the amphitheater. Most recently, Matt led the charge to acquire preserve this land behind us, formerly known as Pumphouse Wash. Because this land is part of the Oak Creek watershed, the county's management of this area will focus on protecting, maintaining, and restoring the area's hydrological and ecological function, including its vegetation, wildlife, and water flow. In Matt's honor today, the members of the Board of Supervisors and I have the privilege of officially renaming it to Matt Ryan County Natural Area. I will be doing a little land acknowledgement. While we are here to celebrate the renaming of this natural area, it is important that we acknowledge that where we sit today are the ancestral lands of this area's past and present indigenous people. Let us recognize and celebrate their heritage, culture, and continual contributions, while at the same time honoring the past, present, and future generations who consider these lands to be their home. At this time, I would go ahead and introduce Andy Bertelsen, County Manager. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair Begay. It's an honor to be here. I'm Andy Bertelsen, County Manager, former intern for Supervisor Matt Ryan and the Board of Supervisors in the late 1990s. So honored to be here today. And as we get started, I wanted to introduce a few folks, our Board of Supervisors. Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Judy Begay. Vice Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Patrice Horseman. Geronimo Vasquez, District 2 Supervisor. Adam Hess, District 3 Supervisor. Lena Fowler, District 5 Supervisor, longtime colleague of Supervisor Ryan. Also with that, former Supervisor Mandy Metzger is here, and as well as former Supervisor Liz Archuleta, and the current President of United Way of Northern Arizona. You'll be hearing more from Liz here in a bit. Also wanted to recognize community partner and former Congressman Tom O'Halloran. Retired County Manager Steve Peru. County Attorney Bill Ring. Highlands Fire Chief Todd Miller. Coconino Community College President Eric Heiser. County Assessor Armando Ruiz. County Attorney-elect Ammon Barker. Sheriff-elect Brett Axlin. Clerk of the Board of Supervisors, Lindsay Daly, and also a former mentee of Supervisor Ryan. Brian Blue and Jean Marie Reich, Parks and Recreation Commissioners. And my colleagues, Lucinda Andriani, Kim Musselman, and Erica Philpott, Deputy County Managers. So thank you all for being here today. It is now my honor to invite up the Ryan grandchildren, Neymar, Finian, Donovan, Ava, Jovi, and Emmett. And they will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Woo!
Good job.
Now it's my great honor to introduce a few speakers. Matt's leadership and contribution, story of Matt reflecting on your values and defining issues. So it's my great honor to introduce a few speakers, and we will start with Craig Sullivan, County Supervisors Association Executive Director. Thank you, Craig.
Thanks for having me up here, Andy. Well, thank you, Andy, and good morning, everybody. I'm Craig Sullivan. I'm with the County Supervisors Association, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be here to honor Matt and his public service. It's really a joy to be here with all of you. I had the pleasure of working with Matt for 20 years, and throughout that time, I was so grateful for his mentorship and his support, but most importantly, Matt, for your friendship. And I'd like to share a little bit today about the positive impact that Matt had on the County Supervisors Association and on me personally. I'm very proud of what the CSA is today as a government service organization. It is often the case that folks are very kind and complimentary about what our organization is, its capability, how it serves the counties, and the very strong network that exists with county supervisors and professional staff across the state. We're committed to public service, and it shows. Folks see it, and they're very kind in recognizing that. But I'll share with you what folks don't realize is that what CSA is today was an aspiration not too long ago. It was a vision of folks like Matt and his colleagues several years ago as they wanted to elevate the capability of this organization. To be sure, county supervisors came together as an association for many years, but the vision was to make it a highly professionalized operation that was strong among 15 counties and had the capability of delivering for its client base. Matt was one of the supervisors, when he first came on the board, Matt, you participated in CSA meetings over on Van Buren Street in a rented, dilapidated building that was not fit for the county official, state official partnership that it needed to serve. And so Coconino County and other counties came together to build a facility that was worthy of that partnership down on the Capitol Mall. And it was opened in 2001. And Matt, your contributions and those of your colleagues are memorialized on the dedication plaque that is still on that building today. And that facility has been a remarkable value add to counties across our state as they come down to work with state officials at the Capitol. And I have to note that supervisors were also very judicious about taxpayer dollars because they found the most affordable property they could. And I'm reminded of this twice a day when the railway goes by and blares its horn right into my office window. When I first came on board, Matt was in leadership in the association. He was the second vice president, and he was leading to his presidential year in 2007. And so given that role, he was a critical partner in bringing me onto this organization and helping me understand how I could best serve. And at that time, we talked a lot about what the organization could be and how it could serve its client base. Matt was very committed to the mission, and he shared that with me regularly. And he mentored me as we were trying to grow it in terms of process improvements and value add to our client base. He also has shared a lot of his expertise about group dynamics and how to better serve a membership. And that mattered a lot to me because I was new and I was trying to grow professionally. And tips he shared at that time I use to this day when I try to support our counties across the state. I really valued that mentorship, Matt. Now, often Matt likes to impart such wisdom early in the mornings, as some of you may know. And I fondly remember when he was president of the association, we were at the NACO annual conference in Richmond, Virginia, 2007. My phone rang somewhere around 5:30 a.m., and Matt was giddy because he had found a park close by that he wanted to do a trail run in. He was asking me if I wanted to go along. And I thought that was the coolest thing. So we went out and had kind of our business meeting together, running a trail outside of Richmond, Virginia. And I really enjoyed that kind of partnership and friendship that we had, Matt. And we got to the NACO meetings on time. So I want to make sure that I make note of that. That's right. After Matt termed out on CSA's leadership, his participation was still very influential. He checked in with me regularly, privately, to see how we're doing. He'd tell me what he's seeing. He'd ask what I was seeing. And we always talked about what we could continue to do. And what I remember from those as well, Matt, is you always cared passionately about how we were developing the team and how we were building a team to support the supervisors. And I always valued those very productive conversations. I was also very grateful for Matt's leadership with his colleague group, the county supervisors. He had built relationships across all county lines. And that's really important because it won't surprise you that in organizations like ours, things can get kind of tense sometimes, right? Might be policy differences, might be personality differences. But Matt was one of those leaders who always paid attention to the objective and helped folks see the bigger picture. And he prevented the circular firing squad from forming so that we could all get focused on what we could do together to support constituents across the state. And I really appreciated that, Matt. Now, when Matt announced that he was stepping down after 27 years, it really caused me to reflect on how important Matt was to this organization. Because for 20 years of my professional career, Matt, you were a fixture in that. And I'm exceedingly grateful for that. And I thought back to the work that he did with his like-minded colleagues who built our organization, and it reminded me of an adage that's very meaningful to me. And it goes like this: if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And that's how Matt led in our organization. You exemplified that, Matt. You brought us all together. Our organization is capable of things today it was not capable of 20 years ago or 27 years ago when you came on board. And I'm exceedingly grateful that you put your hard work, time, talents, and dedication and sacrifices to build us to what we are today, and it'll continue to pay dividends. So thank you, Matt. I appreciate you a ton, and I'm proud to be here to honor you for your legacy. Thank you, buddy. Now it's my pleasure to hand the baton to Kate Morley, the Executive Director of MetroPlan.
Thank you, Craig. I'm Kate Morley, Executive Director of MetroPlan. I have had the honor of working with Matt in my current role as Executive Director, but also for 8.5 years at Mountain Line and as a brand new planner at Coconino County before that. I'm honored to be here to share Matt's transportation legacy today as we dedicate this natural area as a physical reminder of Matt's many accomplishments on behalf of the residents of Coconino County. However, I want to point out that in addition to this space, there are many places around the county that one can look to see his mark, particularly when it comes to transportation. You can see reminders of Matt's legacy in the blue buses of Mountain Line. Matt was instrumental in the formation of NAPTA and seeing the transit system grow over the years. He knew the economic value of transit and believed in the basic human need to get where you need to go, no matter what your financial or physical circumstances. He supported several tax initiatives over the years that brought the expansion of service, hybrid and electric buses, and many, many millions in capital grants. One of those projects that you can see his legacy in is the Downtown Connection Center being built now. He advocated for that project at that very important location from the time the idea was conceived. You can also see Matt's legacy in the 4th Street Bridge, the soon-to-be Lone Tree Bridge. He recognized the value these connections over the railroad tracks would bring for reducing congestion and creating access, and he advocated for the funding to make them happen. You'll see his legacy in many more places soon as the city builds its Proposition 419 projects, including the Beulah Roundabout and Underpass, future investments in Butler, West 66, and John Wesley Powell Boulevard. And soon you'll also see it on I-17 with a new wildlife crossing near Munns Park. The project is a testament to his longtime support of partnerships with Game and Fish to ensure that people and animals make it to their destinations safely. Besides helping get these critical projects underway, Matt was pragmatic about setting up the structures and entities that enable transportation ideas to become reality. He is a master at how to get things done, but then again, he's been around a long time, so he should be. Matt was one of the rural elected officials that called for the creation of the Rural Transportation Advocacy Council. Our tax mission is to promote rural and small metropolitan transportation interests, and he served on that board for roughly 20 years, representing both MetroPlan and NACOG at various times, and was the chairman for 2 different stints. He was always one of the most proactive and supportive members. He was a key player in Traffic Matters, a Sedona-Oak Creek congestion initiative, and he was key to the conversations in Sedona that established commuter transit service between Cottonwood and Sedona that still operates today. Matt knew the importance of supporting federal transportation funding, bills like the FAST Act and the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, and the many federal grant applications that have leveraged our local taxpayer dollars to deliver us more. And he did all this in typical Matt fashion, his running clothes. So with these ideas, I hope that as you drive, walk, take transit, bike, and run around the county, you will see Matt's legacy everywhere. And thank you, Matt, for your lasting legacy on transportation, as well as the mentorship you gave me and the rest of us that we can carry the torch without you. And with that, it's my honor to introduce Fred Vrba, Astronomer.
Thank you very much. My name is Fred Vrba. I'm an astronomer at the U.S. Naval Observatory, otherwise known as the other observatory here in town. And it's a great honor to be here at this. This is a very wonderful occasion to honor Matt for the nature preserve here. And my big problem in trying to speak in 3 or 4 or 5 minutes about what Matt has done for helping to preserve dark skies is how to mention it all. So I think I'm going to just kind of do two things here, one sort of general and one sort of specific. So if you're here, you're probably pretty aware of the sort of wonderful dark skies that we have here in Flagstaff. And you're probably also aware that there are a lot of support at all levels in our local community and the larger community, all the way from governmental. We always had great support from the City Council, the Board of Supervisors that Matt was on for many years. And I've known Matt, by the way, for I don't know how many years now. It's a long time. But we also have support. We've also had support from the technical people in the county and the city. We have support from the educational institutions here in the area. Certainly the observatories are strong proponents of dark skies. And the military. I work for the Naval Observatory, which is a military organization. We do both astrophysics and more mission-related things. And Camp Navajo is also very interested in dark skies for their training. I think Ray Garcia may say some words about that. But what probably isn't so obvious is that these organizations have to work together constantly. If we don't have support from the community, government's not going to be able to fix things. If the observatories aren't there to help give technical advice, that's going to be a problem. And ultimately, if we don't have support from the community, then none of these things can be accomplished. And this is a very interactive thing that has to go on all the time. And I could go on for quite a while talking about Matt's efforts, for instance, in the joint land use study survey that we had a few years ago. Maybe Ray will say something about that. I could just go on and on and on. But the real point here is, though, that these kind of efforts are continuing. We can't preserve our dark skies and just be complacent and think they're going to be there. It's a continuing maintenance process. How is it maintenance? Well, because technology changes. We basically recently had the LEDs come in. The city and the county are growing. It's just this constant effort, and it's really important to get all these organizations and the community involved in preserving the dark skies. So, Matt, thanks for all the work you've done on all the years for that. But now I want to mention something. So that's sort of in the past and ongoing, but I want to mention something about the future. So about a year and a half ago, I had a really crazy idea. And Matt, I bet you know where I'm going. I'm a member of the American Astronomical Society. It's the biggest astronomy organization in the United States. And we have two big semi-annual meetings every year, one in January, one in June. And the one a year ago, June, was in Albuquerque. And I got this kind of crazy idea that, it's the astronomers get together and talk about preserving dark skies and all that. And a lot of it is the choir preaching to the choir, the preacher preaching to the preacher, and not a lot happens. But what happened here in Flagstaff and Coconino County is a real demonstration that we can have dark skies in a very vibrant, growing community. It's not just a little town. Flagstaff is sort of a mid-major city. It's sort of the closest analogy I can come up with is Syracuse, New York, that everybody knows. So I had this idea that maybe we could get elected and technical people from the city and the county to come and address the astronomers. Because sometimes the astronomers actually kind of get discouraged that they really aren't being able to promote dark skies. And what we call the Flagstaff solution is something that in astronomy we're really trying to promote across the entire country. So my colleagues at the Naval Observatory said that's a great idea, but it'll never work. And I kind of thought that they're probably right. So the very first step I did was I called Vice Mayor Aslan and I called Supervisor Ryan to see what their ideas would be about this. I said, would you be willing to address, a lot of people, a lot of PhD astronomers in a big convention? And I was really expecting to hear well, that sounds like a great idea, but I'm too busy, or, maybe that's really jumping into the lion's den or something like that. I didn't hear anything like that at all. Both these guys said, let's do it. I thought, wow, okay, so that gave me confidence. We actually got a sort of a 2-day meeting within the meeting. They had a whole number of sessions, and Matt was one of our speakers. And I just wanted, this is really kind of interesting, I'm just looking at the program here, and Ray Garcia, who I'm going to introduce in a minute, is the title, the general topic of his talk is Valuing Intergovernmental Partnerships, which is kind of what I talked about at the beginning. So I actually looked it up, and this is the title of Matt's talk from last year is called Intergovernmental and Interinstitutional Cooperation in Preserving Dark Skies. And I can tell you that meeting had a profound effect on astronomy, and I think, I don't know if Jeff Bauman is here, a couple other people that were at that meeting. I think I saw Jay Crisselman here someplace. Yeah, there you are. There's been a lot of other cities reaching out to Flagstaff and Coconino County about how we can do this, because it's not just a matter of getting the regs out there, it's a matter of doing, I hate to use the word, but enforcement. It's a tricky political thing to get this done. And, I don't know what we would have done without you, Matt. You've been a great friend to Dark Skies, and I also just, as an aside, it's not really my thing, but you've been a great friend to our military institution for helping preserve our mission. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Thank you. So it is my great pleasure to introduce Ray Garcia, Colonel Ray Garcia, retired was then at Camp Navajo and a great friend of ours.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you very much, Fred. What Fred can't say and won't say, but I can because I'm retired, is the Naval Observatory. One little plug for the Naval Observatory and I don't think you'll mind, Matt, is they are a critical piece of our national defense. So anytime you get to support the Naval Observatory and dark skies, please do. It's very important. So good morning. I'm truly honored to speak to you today as we recognize the accomplishments of Matt and the support of his family over the years. You've dedicated so much time and energy to this community, Matt, that's just incredible. When I first met Matt, and I won't tell a bad joke because I'm also an employee of the county, and Andy's here, so I got to behave a little bit. But we had a fire on Camp Navajo, and it was accidentally started. We had to blow up something that was dangerous, and it was an emergency demolition. And the EOD techs, I don't know, they wanted to go back to Phoenix or something, so they put a lot of explosives on instead of blowing it up multiple times with smaller explosives. So anyway, we started a fire. So Matt shows up, and I get a call from somebody at the county, I don't know who it was, and they said, hey, Supervisor Ryan wants to come out and visit you. And I said, okay, that sounds good. Well, they want to talk about the fire. Matt brings the sheriff. I'm like, oh, and some of you have heard my story. Oh, no, I'm in trouble now. The sheriff's here too. But it was good to meet Sheriff Driscoll at the time, and as well, and Matt. And then really, it was just concern for the community. Where is this fire going to go? What are you doing? Do you need help? And that was really what it was about. What do you guys need so we can help keep this fire under control? And I just finished talking with the Forest Service, DFFM, everybody that was concerned, and we had a plan. And I briefed Matt, and everything went well after that. We got the fire out. But that was my first visit with Matt. And I think Matt, that's also when he roped me in. He was like, yeah, I need this guy. And that's when he made me realize, because I could see the care that he had for our community. And he made me realize that I can't just be a commander of a little base outside of Flagstaff and not be involved in the community. So shortly after that, I started getting invites from Jay, Crisselman, you name it, everybody else in the county. Hey, we want you to play Joint Land Use Study, the Army Compatible Use Buffer Program. Let's see, the Dark Skies. I got involved with that because the Naval Observatory is our neighbor. I grew up here, so I appreciate dark skies. I know what the observatories do for us. And so, yeah, heck yeah, I'll support the Naval Observatory. I'll support dark skies. Matt pulled me into the Belmont area plan. And it was, I don't live in Belmont, but I can help. And thank you for allowing me to do that, Matt. We worked some forest initiatives with NAU, other partners, DFFM, local industry. What else? Private logging companies. We did the biomass energy study to try and bring some industry to northern Arizona. And really, with all these opportunities, what I learned about Matt is that, you know, he knows and understands the breadth and depth of industry, economy, the environment, most importantly, and maybe not most importantly, but the constituents and the community and what we need here. And he understands how we're all integrated, how we all can work together, and he has that ability to bring us all together and work together and get things done. And so, so Matt, you know, you taught me a lot on how to get involved in the community, and that's really how I ended up, when I retired from the military, wanting to come to the county because I recognized it was a great organization that can do a lot for our community. And I wanted to continue serving my community, so thank you, Matt, for inspiring me to do that and continuing to work here. So having the opportunity to work with you, Matt, it was a blessing, and I know it's been for each and every one of you that's worked with him or for him, and it's just been an amazing to work with you, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for us, Matt, and just thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'd like to now introduce Jay Smith, Coconino County's Forest Restoration Director.
Thank you, Ray. I'm going to go up a little bit here. So I'm here today to speak on behalf of myself and Lucinda Andrani, our Director of the Flood Control District, and our whole team at the Flood Control District, who is where the Forest Restoration Initiative sits. And we're here to talk about the Coconino County Forest Restoration Initiative, which Matt was part of implementing that in 2018. So I've lived in his district since 2016, and specifically about a mile away from here since 2019. So it's great to have this area now as the Matt Ryan, because I'm used to calling it the Pump House. And so the Pump House goslings that we watched, probably 25 goslings this year in the watershed right behind us. I mean, it was great to watch. My wife and I walked this area. So now they're the Matt Ryan goslings. That's what it's going to be from now on. So. But much of District 3, which Matt represented for 27 years, continues to be under threat from wildfire. We had the slide fire in 2014 that threatened Sedona to the south, and Forest Highlands and Kachina Village and Mountain Air to the north, and really Flagstaff if the fire would have got into Pump House Wash. We kept it out of Pump House Wash due to a lot of forest restoration projects that Matt supported and advocated for along Highway 89. If you've ever driven down to Oak Creek, you'll see all these thinned areas. I mean, I was actually working in private industry, logging an area during the slide fire, and you know, just to see the impact that did, that was what stopped that fire from coming into Pump House Wash, those treatments, and Matt was instrumental in those treatments. Then we had the Raphael fire in 2021, threatening Garland Prairie and Camp Navajo. You know, Matt, again, from the beginning, has been part of, as a board of county supervisors, to support and advocate for forest restoration. He was there when the Greater Flagstaff Forest Partnership, that was then known as the Grand Canyon Forest Foundation, was created in 1997. GFFP is now one of the longest running nonprofits that's in the forest restoration arena in the whole country. I mean, that's something to be proud of, to just think that you've been part of something since 1997 that's now one of the longest running nonprofits in this area. And I'm on the board of GFFP, so I thought about bringing my GFFP hat, taking this one off, and then I would have put on my next hat, which is I'm also on the board of the Highlands Fire District. And Matt has strongly supported the efforts of all the fire districts. And you may have more fire districts in District 3 than any other district in the county. And you've been a big supporter of the districts to inform homeowners of the threat from wildfire, and how those fire districts can assist the homeowners, how they as homeowners can reduce their own threat. I mean, you've talked to homeowners that, you know, we all have responsibilities as homeowners to reduce the threat in our own properties and to really protect the whole community that way. Matt also provided funding for a new digital sign that if you've driven towards the Highlands Main Fire District, got a beautiful sign now where we can alert people. We have a lot of Airbnbs and things here that we can alert people of fire dangers in the summertime, other things that are happening in the community. It's a great way to get the word out. And I know former Chief Foreman and Chief Todd Miller, you know, they worked on that together, and we were able to get that done through your funding and your support, so appreciate that. So in 2019, when the Board of Supervisors decided to hire a forest restoration director, at the time, maybe 1 or 2 counties in the whole western United States may have had a forester on staff. So the board, with Matt's support, was willing to step out and look at how we can be involved in forest restoration when most of the land is managed by the federal government. You know, what is the county doing, stepping into this arena? But it was just too important after the Schultz fire and other impacts from post-fire flooding was impacting the county budgets and the flood control budgets, and Matt recognized that. And Matt was very supportive of the ideas that I think Lucinda probably had at the very beginning to utilize those flood control district tax dollars to do forest restoration in those areas, like that, an area that was identified in Matt's district, Bill Williams Mountain, where those steep slopes, when they burn, the floods come, and here you have a town that's built right at the base of the mountain. And we knew the impacts, the fiscal impacts that would happen, let alone the impacts to the community and just the psyche of people. And he was instrumental in meeting with the City of Williams leadership to support that work, that we are now taking dollars away from the community in infrastructure and putting it on thinning a mountain. And he was instrumental in teaching and educating the people in Williams to say this has to happen. It's just too critical not to have this work done. And they agreed. And they were happy to see those helicopters flying with trees hanging underneath them and getting that work done. I remember the summer after we completed the first phase of thinning on Bill Williams Mountain, the district ranger called me at 6 a.m. to let me know that there had been a lightning fire started on the mountain that night. And I knew Matt would be awake, so I think there's a theme happening here. I knew he'd be awake, because my first question to the district ranger is, where did it start at? And she said, it's within phase 1 of the project. And so my heart stopped beating 150 miles an hour, and I said, okay, I'm confident that we're okay now because it's within the area we treated. And by the way, they caught the fire easily. They were able to put firefighters on the mountain because of the treatment, the lack of fuel because we'd removed it. And I was able to call Matt and say, we have a fire, it's within the area that we treated, and let's not worry about this. And they had the fire under control that same day. So, you know, it's just confirmation that the work that we're doing is critical and is working. So I was happy to make that phone call. Matt also understood that it's better from a financial perspective and a human perspective to prevent those catastrophic fires than to react to those catastrophic fires. We walked the halls of Congress together, me in my very uncomfortable dress shoes and he in his running shoes. I've learned that lesson. I have to do that. My feet would be so sore, and he'd be on a run that afternoon, and I'm like, got to learn these lessons. But we educated our congressional members on what our communities, and his communities specifically, face each year during fire season, and how these catastrophic wildfires not only affect our communities and the people that live there, and the psyche and just the fear that some people have, but also the entire county through the fiscal impacts brought about by these wildfires, and more importantly, the post-wildfire flooding. So thank you, Matt, for listening to the science, for taking that information and putting it into action, but more for trusting many of us to understand your vision and to be able to implement your vision through actions to bring it to fruition to protect our communities. It's something that most people will never recognize. I came, and kind of why I'm casually dressed today, I came from the forest behind Kachina Village, a 3,500 acre project that's getting started. They're using the newest technology of LiDAR data 3,500 acres, imagine how many trees are on that. We're gonna have a scan of every single tree on that 3,500 acres and make decisions off of that of where we need to treat and what trees to remove and what trees to keep to protect Kachina, Mountain Air, Forest Highlands, Mountain Dell, where you live, all the way to Flagstaff. These are the important projects that Matt has been supporting 27 years, if not longer. So appreciate that. We thank you for all your support. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Gregory Nelson, the Government Affairs Director and former District 3 Director.
Thank you, Jay, and good morning. Thank you, Matt. I'm reminded of what Jay's comments said. You know, Matt was in a dumpster out here during Raphael Fire loading up pine needles, you know, to keep the community safe, in the dumpster with the Public Works Director. So that just goes to show he was at the top and he worked it from the bottom all the way up. Thank you for being here today. My name is Gregory Nelson. I serve as the county's Government Affairs Director and also served as the District 3 Director. I'm a proud resident of District 3 in Mountain Air. It's a privilege to be here today to celebrate the numerous contributions of Matt Ryan to the community and Coconino County. Thank you for the opportunity to offer a few words that will undoubtedly fall short of the many contributions of growing the next generation of a longtime leader that is Matt Ryan in this community. Working for Matt is a time I will always cherish. His leadership style, his demeanor, family values, work ethic have forever shaped who I am and the many people whose lives he touched day in and day out. Matt is always looking to help others grow, providing support during difficult times, and modeling the true characteristics of a leader. For Matt, it was never about the public servant. It was about the public service. It was about what we could achieve, never the I. It was never about the Facebook or Instagram photo, but about this landscape, the communities, and the people. This was a key piece for me as a millennial generation, having the opportunity to work under Matt. We're often labeled the me generation. Public service is fundamentally about growing the next generation and building community, social, and hard infrastructure for the future. As you know, Matt is an avid gardener, and I recall a proverb, "A society grows great when men plant trees whose shade they will never sit in." That defines who Matt is. Public service is about the future, even though we may no longer be in the room where the big decisions are made. And we've heard that today in all of the speakers that have addressed Matt's legacy. Matt consistently sought out opportunities to impact the next generation, including Lindsay, who worked under him, who I worked under, providing resources, insight, and most importantly, trust in those whom he worked with. He trusted those to deliver his vision, and we've heard that today. Working with Matt, I was privileged to see his belief in the next generation. We see that with his support for his grandchildren here today. His mentorship, we've heard that today. His support and his willingness to look beyond the immediate seduction of taking the easy route and to make hard decisions in service of the greater good. As we worked through challenging issues, each day was an opportunity to learn and witness the impact of Matt's leadership and allow his graceful and essential qualities to imprint upon me and all of us. One of the greatest lessons I learned from Matt's office and from Matt himself is the importance of not taking yourself too seriously, having fun while doing serious work, and most importantly, doing what is right in the face of pressure and the noise that often impacts our world today, while always remembering to take time to recharge. Matt leads with intention, great contemplation, compassion, and empathy. I'm fortunate to have had so many experiences, drives, meetings, and mentorship from Matt. I certainly would not be the person I am today without the opportunities and leadership impressed upon Matt, and there are many in this room that could say the same thing. You consistently impacted everyone around you every day and brought them up, never taking them down. These few words offer a partial insight into the wonderful leader Matt Ryan is, someone who believes in the next generation and seeks out the opportunity to build a future for that generation. Thank you, Matt, for all that you did for our time together and all that you did for this community, the landscapes that make this place so special. And as you would always say, and we live here. So thank you, and I'm privileged to introduce former Supervisor Liz Archuleta.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. And welcome, everyone. It's really great to see just so many faces. As I look out, I just have so many memories of each of you, and I probably have a story that I could tell that involves each of you or your organizations in terms of Matt's involvement and my involvement, having served with him for over 25 years on the Board of Supervisors. And when you serve that long, obviously you do a lot. And so I wanted just to, you've heard about Matt's accomplishments today, and you'll continue to hear about his accomplishments, and rightly so, because Matt's legacy is that of a dedicated, committed public servant. And he has done so much in this community, and his mark will certainly be felt for years to come. So I'm thinking about my comments today. I really wanted to focus in on the heart, like the heart of leadership, and Matt's heart and what he brought to his leadership, which was a big heart. No, a huge, huge heart is what Matt brought. And I was reminded of just this quote, which is, one of life's greatest gifts is that of a treasured friend. And that's how I feel about Matt, a treasured friend. I mean, he's not only a treasured friend, he's my brother. And I want just to start out by saying thank you to Teresa, thank you to the entire family for sharing your spouse, your dad, with the county, with me, for over 25 years. When you are such a dedicated public official, you find that sometimes you're spending more time on the job and out in community than you do with sometimes your own family. And there were times when Matt and I spent many, many hours together. And certainly that is you have to be supported by your family to do that. It's a sacrifice. And so I really want to thank each of you just for allowing me that joy and that work joy of your dad and I being able to do so much in the community. So a little bit about Matt's heart. You've heard that Matt's impacted the state level, the county, his district. And what I want to say is that, Matt always had at the core of his being the community that he served. And he had, yes, his district at heart, but he always said, county first, district second. And that meant that he was going to put people over the position. And that's what he brought to him. I met Matt for the first time when we were campaigning back in 1996. And it was both of us, it was our first time to run a campaign for election to the Board of Supervisors. And I met him and I thought, wow, this guy's nice. He's approachable. He's down to earth. He has a beautiful family. And who, like me, wanted to bring a community perspective, a fresh perspective, and a lot of heart to the Board of Supervisors. And that's exactly what he did. Matt brought not only his heart, but he brought his passion for community in his role as county supervisor. He did this by engaging community. Matt knocked on every single door of his district. Now, I am not exaggerating. Matt knocked on every single door of his district. You might think, oh yeah, well, Liz, that's great because he was campaigning. No. When he already had the role, Matt knocked on every single door of his district. And why did he do that? He did that because he wanted to get people's perspective. And it may have taken him a couple of minutes to talk to someone at the door, or it might have taken him 2 hours to talk to somebody. And he would leave them information. He'd want to educate them about county processes and how they could get engaged and how they could get involved. And people that disagreed with him, he'd meet with them too. Not to try to have them agree with him, but rather to promote understanding and to see what their perspective was. Matt had numerous community meetings. Matt wanted to make sure that meetings, he would have a community meeting if it was early in the morning, late at night. He always wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity to be engaged in the processes, to have their voices heard. And he would just make sure. He would pop up a tent, like right here, pop up a tent and like talk to Matt. He'd have a community meeting that way. He'd go to the fire station, have a community meeting. Maybe it was in the bay of where the fire trucks were. Matt did that. In the most remote areas of the district, Matt found a way to make sure that he was accessible. Matt, he talked for hours and hours with residents. And he would talk, and the next day, he'd get right back up again, go back out, rain or shine, snow. He would go out and talk to residents. He established several citizen committees and groups so they could provide their input and their insight. He educated the community on being on a board, being on a commission, being on a committee or a task force. He made sure that those positions were filled and that people had an opportunity to serve in county government. And, with his colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, Matt was the same way. Matt was just a down-to-earth person. He built trust with us who served with him on the board. He demonstrated that his intentions were good and they were pure. He kept his word, very important. He worked hard. And he made decisions in a way that were he did the right thing. And he was guided by this moral compass of what was best for community, and at the same time, having to make very difficult decisions, maybe not popular, but because that's what was best for community, for the county. And he shared credit, always shared credit for a job well done. Matt didn't waver from his values of putting community first. And equally important is Matt allowed himself to be vulnerable and to share that vulnerability. I remember many conversations that Matt and I had just about how difficult the job was, how hard it was maybe to make that decision, because it was something that, as leaders, we needed to take a position on, and that maybe community didn't agree, but that we knew it was the right thing to do, and it was the right thing to move the county forward. And we went about our work in that way, making sure that although the decisions were sometimes difficult and the work was heavy, that we were prepared with our leadership to be able to make those. And the reason sometimes the job was heavy and it was difficult is because we were impacting people's lives. And Matt knew that. Matt knew that we were impacting people's quality of life. And he understood that immense responsibility and that commitment that he made when he was elected to this position. One of the things that, the work was hard, it was long, but we knew we were doing serious work, but we never took ourselves too seriously. And that's something you could always count on with Matt. He would bring laughter and joy to the work. He would make sure that people were taking a break, making sure that we celebrated our accomplishments, making sure that we, talked about the things that were difficult, making sure that we, saw humor in what we were doing and each other. And he really helped us keep things real. That's one thing I can say about Matt. He helped us keep things real. In fact, his humanness was very, very refreshing. And like the time when he ran into a board meeting, it was about to start, and in 30 seconds, Matt runs in, and he has his running shorts on, and he is sweating profusely. It's because he wanted to get a run in, and he had one of his running old T-shirts on, and he's decided he was going to run from his house to downtown. And, great idea. However, he runs into the Board of Supervisors meeting, and I thought, oh my gosh, Matt must have forgotten his work clothes. Like, oh goodness. And he sat, without skipping a beat, he sat right next to me, sweat, thinking nothing of it, just, roll is being taken here. I'm here. I hand him a couple of napkins, and I think, okay. I thought, okay, isolated incident. Wrong. This happened again. I thought, oh my goodness. From that point on, I had a towel underneath my dais so that I could hand him a towel if he needed it. That was Matt. We're like, okay, that's Matt. I get it. He wants to get a run in. Great. Or like the time when he would call me early in the morning, he'd be like, hey, Liz, let's just meet for some coffee. It's 6 a.m. Are you ready? No, but I can be. And, well, it wasn't just coffee. Pretty soon he'd be bringing me out to his district and showing me, I just want to let you know what's going on, a couple of hours later. And he's like, oh, I want to show you this, I want to show you that. Or, hey, Liz, let's meet for coffee. And we end up taking a walk at Buffalo Park, and he would be talking. Or we'd do that if we went, if we went out of town to see other parts of his district. We'd kind of end up taking this trip all around the district to the most remote parts. And I always made sure, plan on a couple of hours with Matt, because coffee's not just coffee. But again, he's just wanting us to see firsthand, right? Like what people were facing, what their situations were, wanting to make sure that he was promoting understanding. So, I talked a little bit about Matt's moral compass, and that it was really grounded in doing the right thing. And we had a couple of very difficult land use decisions, and I remember talking about that and preparing for it. And the end of the decision, when the night was over, and it was like one of those 1 a.m., 2 a.m. public hearings that went, and you have to process it a little bit. And we were both thinking about it and thinking, hey, that was a tough decision. Did we make the right decision? And we always came to the conclusion that if we could look at ourselves in the mirror the next day after that decision, that was the right decision, because we were making that decision with the right moral compass. And that's how Matt approached his work always. I think the one thing that I really appreciate about Matt was that when we had the Schultz flood and fires in my district, every single day Matt checked in with me and wanted to know how I was doing, because that was a really tough time for the people that lived in my district. It was a really tough time for the county. And he checked in, he wanted to know how the community was doing. He was there. It wasn't his district, but he was there with me, by my side, making sure that we were meeting the needs of residents, assuring the residents that the county was going to be there for them, assuring the residents that there would be recovery, assuring the safety of the residents. He was there every single step of the way with me. And when it was time to go to DC and knock on doors and ask for funding, because we knew the county couldn't pay for it all for this recovery, Matt and I had this little system, because when you work with each other for 25 years, you kind of get to know where our strengths are. And so he'd be like, okay, Liz, you go into this meeting and you're the tough guy, you just give them hell, right? And then I'll tell them, oh, well, maybe we can work things out, and I'll talk to Liz, and I'm sure we can work it out. Maybe you don't have to come up with 10 million, but 5, she'll probably accept 5 million. And so we'd have this little thing that we would do where we would make sure that we were being effective in our advocacy. And Matt and I, we brought that rhythm. We brought that. We built on each other's strengths all the time. And when it was his turn to be the one that was going to go in and be the one that was going to be laying it on the line and what we needed, he would do that, and then I would be the other part of the role, where I'd be like, maybe I can talk to Matt and he might settle for a little less, So we had this thing that we would do and really play on each other's strengths. But lastly, I just want to say that Matt has never wavered from who he is. That decent human being with a huge heart and a love for community. I am so proud to have served with him. I am so proud to have made a long life friend and to call him my brother. Matt, thank you for making my 25 years on the Board of Supervisors joyful, fulfilling, and making it one that I was so proud to serve with you and all of the other members of the Board of Supervisors. You really brought so much to the board, and it's a time that I will always treasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you to all of our speakers on community impacts and legacy of Matt Ryan. Jay, you had mentioned running the halls of Congress, and I have to tell a quick story. So, in the late 90s, I'm interning for the Coconino County Board of Supervisors, of which Matt Ryan and Liz Archuleta are in their first term of leadership on the Board of Supervisors. So I come to work in my new dress slacks, my new dress shirts, which I thought I needed for the position as an interning for the Coconino County Board of Supervisors. My shirt tucked in, ready to check my emails and get to work. Matt comes into the office, says, "Come on, Andy, we have a few things to do today." The next thing I know, I am running completely around the Arboretum of Flagstaff. We go out to Rogers Lake Natural Area, which was not yet Rogers Lake Natural Area because it was prior to the Coconino Parks and Open Space program. It is now Rogers Lake Natural Area. So we ran, 3 or 4 miles in my dress shoes, dress slacks. Matt was well prepared for the day. I was not. And I learned so much about public service and who we are as Coconino County. Roll up your sleeves, get the work done, let's go. We have things to do today. I feel like I am a Matt Ryan Gosling. So with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce Sean, Jer, and Tess, Matt's kids. Thank you.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you. This has really been just a beautiful moment to listen and to hear the level of recognition and all of the things that have come together that our dad has helped to be a part of. So my name's Sean. I'm the oldest. This is Tess. This is Jer. When we touched base on this idea of coming up to speak, we said, I don't know, what order should it be in? And it was sort of okay, I guess age group goes. So I'm the oldest, so I get to start. But also, you may like this or not, but I was an elementary education school teacher. And I just can't pass up this opportunity right now as we've been here a little while listening to do a little bit of something that makes you move. And so, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me just a moment here. Just a really quick activity that's just meant to be a moment or two, but something that I think really ties to our theme of the day with Matt Ryan, and it also gives us a chance to get that breath of fresh air as we look at what's happening here. So if you feel comfortable doing so, if you don't mind, if you would stand up just a moment. And honestly, just do a big stretch. I mean, I know those chairs feel good and all, but just a stretch, taking a deep breath, let it out. And before you sit back down, I'd just like you to turn in a few of the key directions around you and take a moment to say hello or good morning to everyone around you there. Absolutely. Oh, and I already heard it. I won't go this far this morning. I already heard, wait, what are we doing? Are we going running right now? No. So feel free, please, if you need that last stretch, one last deep breath, go ahead and have a seat. Thank you for engaging with me in that moment. Also, I have to say as a teacher, I am always inspired and led by kids, led by youth. We are kids still. I still think of myself as a kid. We're his kids. But we brought with us today our kids, the next generations who are leading us into the future. One thing I do also want to point out, as we have just a little bit more and some words to say in honor of the work that my dad's done, is that this baseball field has an incredible surface for drawing pictures right in front of you. So if you have not yet put an artwork design into the baseball field with your toes or fingers or whatever, I have been inspired by some cool stuff the kids have done over here. So please feel free to add those as a feature on the field today. With that said, really, each of us just wanted to take a couple of minutes to recognize some things from our lives in reflection of the work that my dad has done and been a part of the county. But all of that is really rooted in a lot of where we come from, our family, and the values that you've heard that he's expressed in communities are values that we've had since the beginning, and just so appreciate. So with that, my role is to give just a little bit of a glimpse at family history. I'm going to pass it along for some other thoughts, and then I'll wrap it up with a little bit of some gratitude at the end. But in terms of family history, my parents, my dad and my mother, Teresa, they are from Philadelphia, and I was born in Philadelphia. So I came there, but these two can claim they really were born and raised in Flagstaff, Arizona. So yeah, shout out for that. But my parents met after high school. My dad came out of his service term with the Marines. My mom graduated college in biology. They did a cross-country trip, and they found Flagstaff along the way on that cross-country trip. And after I was born and pretty young, my dad took that GI Bill and came to NAU. So he's a graduate of NAU, really got immersed in the programs here. But if we even step back further than that, he was a kid that grew up in the neighborhood south of Philadelphia, but somebody who was always immersed in open spaces, in getting out and exploring what's around you, and in education, learning, and community. And we've heard a lot of those things today. Perhaps that was a calling to them, a call to the West, a call to something where you have big open skies and spaces. And they have truly found that home, that place here in Coconino County and in Flagstaff, Arizona. And that's included a little bit of a trip to California during my childhood. And then we came back here and were centered as a family. The three of us were homeschooled as we grew up, so we got fully immersed and alternated. My mom leading the way, my dad, all those cool trails you heard about, the Arboretum and around the museum and out to Rogers Lake, we've been doing that since we were kids. We helped build them. That was part of schoolwork, was, jogging and running and digging and doing things like that. But truly led to an immersive experience for us. And as I got to high school, he really got involved in looking at what's going on with communities and natural resources here where we live. And that led him to get involved and take this jump, take a risk in getting into political service and an elected position as county supervisor. So it's to taking that risk, to getting involved, being willing to be out there, that my sister Tess will speak a little more about.
Hello, my name is Tess Ryan Abreu. I am Matt Ryan's favorite daughter. I'm his only one, mind you, but still says I'm his favorite. You guys kind of took most of my speech away, and I love that because from both family as well as community, my dad is who he is. He always leads with the foresight to see all the pieces that fit together. Can't just leave your little brother, Tess. You got to keep up with your, oh, he'll slow down for you. We're a pack, we're a family, we're a group that works together. And we've been so fortunate to have him as a role model, a mentor, and a father figure. And the one piece that I will read from what I wrote, which I think bears the most for us as just people who want to see good in their lives and their community, is if you try to sum up, like, how does my dad do it? How does he kind of have this perspective, this ability to kind of look at these bigger pictures and start putting all of the right people together, all the right facilities together? I think it really comes down to a poem he gave me when I was going through some transitions in my life by William Arthur Ward, which is called Risk, which I will now read. And I think it's how he can view everything and kind of give you a little head check to kind of take a breath and stretch and get in there again. So by William Arthur Ward, to laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out to another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk exposing your true self. To place your ideas and dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. But risks must be taken, because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing. He may avoid suffering and sorrow, but he cannot learn, feel, change, grow, or live. Chained by his servitude, he is a slave who has forfeited all freedom. Only a person who risks is free. The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, and the realist adjusts the sails. My father is the epitome of an optimistic realist. He is always looking for the good in people, in community. I believe he took these risks to build a wonderful community with you all. That is still to this day one of my favorite meccas. I have had the pleasure to travel many places and live in other communities. There's truly no other place like Flagstaff, and I have enjoyed watching his and your hard work come to the beautiful balance that it is. I'm very thankful that he was strong enough to put his ideas and dreams before you and risk so many things to make those dreams a reality. Naming this area after him is a wonderful gift to represent the reality of this man. As the years continue, I know my mother, brothers, husband, and sons will all be able to see a reminder of the great man that my father is every time that we look at this place and drive up to see my parents or my brothers on the way. I don't fully remember what my little brother's going to speak about, so I'm going to let him take the stage. But I am just, on a final note for me, Dad, I'm so thankful that you always give me that head check I need, that people are good, things are good, life's not perfect, and but you work with the people around you and you can find a good way to go. Life turns out pretty good. So on that note, Jer.
So today I'm going to talk a little bit about words matter and how very proud and thrilled I am that we're naming a swamp after my dad. Because swamps are often overlooked. They really are places actually that ecologically are just so vital to the ecosystem that they are in. They filter out toxins, they create fresh water, they bring wildlife, waterfowl, all kinds of amazing, beautiful things, and rare and precious ones in a desert like Flagstaff. And so to have something so vital and precious named after my dad really, truly is a true honor. And it's something that I think people can think of it as a swamp and a dirty place if they like, but it really is something that is just so vital to our community. And so, since words matter, I wanted to share some of the things that my dad has always said and some of the ways that that kind of applies to the things you have heard today. So, good morning, Drade. Today's a new day. Smile. Eat, wash, dress, tidy up. Because those are really important things. As a family living in a 1,000 square foot house, 5 people, you really need to be able to interact with people very closely and to be able to get over conflicts and to be able to maintain a level of hygiene and to work with the people that you are living with. And that when you need to escape, when you need to get out to clear your head, you go out to nature, to the trails, to the open spaces and the greenways. And you go out and you work on tending that garden and you take care of it, and you need to make sure that it has elements that are cultivated, but also that element of wild, that asymmetry within your symmetry. You need to go out and pay attention to what things are called as we hike on the trails. And even today, when I'm hiking on trails, people are like, "What was that, Jer?" I was like, "I was just identifying plants, because that's what Dad has us do." And he might call them Jupiters and aspirin, but we know that they're junipers and aspen. And my dad is a person that you have heard a lot about how the county took time from us, and yet he wasn't absent. He woke us up, yes, early. I wake up late. I wake up at 6 a.m. in my family. And he would wake us up and he would take us out on these adventures to go explore the amazing place that we live in. And he would be there and he would look at his watch and say, "Oh, I've got to get in a shower so that I can run to the meeting that is starting in 5 minutes." So for the record, he did shower before his run. And yet, he's the reason that I am punctual. He's the reason I'm on time to things. He is the reason I think that Sean and I both, despite being homeschooled, ended up as school teachers so that we could share with our community, so that we can bring the values that my dad has to the community and continue his work in some small part. And I think I will leave you with a profound thank you and my dad's favorite saying, "And we live here."
And so, like I said, I kind of bookend this one, but really do along the theme that Jer has started there. Just wanted to take a moment to express gratitude as we wrap up some family reflections here. You know, of course, words matter. We got the linguist of the family to focus us on words there. But it really is something that just want to say out loud and express the gratitude and thanks to all of those thousands of community members that opened their door to that guy coming around their neighborhoods and engaging in conversations to learn and listen and work and collaborate and connect together. Really want to express gratitude and thanks for all of you here. Those who couldn't be here today, there have been so many people who have worked closely with and supported activities. And so many we've heard today that just jumped in and went on a run or got a cup of coffee, right? So I can tell some of you decoded the language system that Matt Ryan has at times. But you know, we really appreciate that. The things that have come together, the accomplishments you've heard, they couldn't happen if it wasn't a community thing, if it wasn't something people connected over and really came together to make it happen. So thank you for being here with us and recognizing this moment today. There's so many things that my dad has been in the background on where he helps to cultivate and get people together. And then everyone runs with it and gets done. And I don't think that always gets recognized. So it's such a neat thing to see that in this moment we can treasure some time and hear and see those stories in recognition. Similarly, I want to just explicitly say thank you to our mother. The finance campaigns, the every 4 years going through all of that over again. The signs, I don't know who still has a Matt Ryan sign out there. Oh, yeah, there's a few. T-shirts, yep, he's running again, right? In one way or another. But all of those things, the websites, switching roles, like I said, there was a lot my dad did with homeschooling. That transitioned as he got immersed in public office, and my mom stepped back in and really, especially with these two, connected quite a bit on what was happening with homeschooling and the activities of the family. So that appreciation, what we've done as a family unit together, the things that have happened here are all tied in our connections here in place in Coconino County and really connections between the people. And while there is a kid in me that was just like, I got to get up and get everyone else up to stretch, I really wanted to also honor that moment for everyone to kind of turn and make at least a little connection with each other. Thank you. I think there was a set of reflections we wanted to share, and we know that you've dedicated a little extra time in the schedule in being here today. We want to pass it back over to Andy, as we know we have a couple official things to still walk through and wrap up in the agenda, but we appreciate the chance to be in front of you. Thanks.
Sorry. I apologize. I got thrown off since my speech got changed. But if you want to see Matt Ryan as a young pup, this was actually given along with the poem, and this is when he started. So I just was going to leave this up here. But thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Words matter. I think Neil Weintraub posted a picture on the Northern Arizona Trails Association website, and it was Matt wearing a T-shirt that said, "Matt Ryan is not running." And Matt was wearing it proudly, having just ran the event that Neil and the Northern Arizona Trail Runners Association had sponsored. I left home for a bit, went to the city of Sedona, and Matt and Teresa used to come down and check on me and take me to the Red Planet Diner. And we'd have lunch, and that ultimately, eventually led to a connection with the Northern Arizona Public Transportation Authority, as well as the Cottonwood Area Transit System, and just making those connections in the Verde Valley. And I'll always remember that. And always remember the Red Planet Diner lunches as well. So with that, it is my absolute great honor to introduce our Coconino County Board of Supervisors, Chair Judy Begay, Vice Chair Patrice Horseman, District 2 Supervisor Geronimo Vasquez, Adam Hess, District 3 Supervisor, and Lena Fowler, District 5 Supervisor. Please come up. Yeah, so please start. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to sing for you.
We're going to start in order. Wow, this has been a wonderful day, and it's wonderful that we're here to celebrate our colleague, Matt Ryan. And I'm Patrice Horseman, District 1, and it's truly fitting to honor Matt Ryan by naming this place that he loves so well and that he advocated for so strongly, the Matt Ryan County Natural Area. Throughout his 27 years on the County Board of Supervisors, Matt's passion for nature and the outdoors manifested itself in numerous ways. For example, inviting a colleague on a tour of the Coconino wetlands area and quickly leaving me in the dust as he, gazelle-like, raced ahead, too excited by the beauty of the day and his surroundings to wait for his less sure-footed colleague. Thanks, Matt. Capturing Matt on flat terra firma, I was pleased to partner with him on one of his final endeavors as a supervisor, the designation of Lake Mary Road as a recreation corridor. This designation, the first in the county, ensured a higher level of safety and signage for that iconic roadway. And it is because Lake Mary is loved and used by local recreation enthusiasts as well as elite runners and bicyclists who came to Matt and said, "What can we do?" I also always marveled at how Matt, the happy warrior, could bring people together and bring ideas and values into realities that served our communities. I value Matt's experience, his insight, his back-to-nature attitude, and his friendship. His work on the board was guided by his passion to preserve and protect and his advocacy for open spaces and greenways. The result, many, which has been touted here by many of us today, have produced a legacy that lives on for all to enjoy. It makes me happy, and it sounds like it makes your children happy, that for decades from now, your grandchildren and their children and their children will be able to come to the Matt Ryan Natural Area and enjoy the beauty. And I know, especially with these kids of yours and those grandkids, that stories are going to be told about how their grandfather, or in some cases, their great-grandfather, made it all possible. Job well done.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor to be here today to celebrate Matt. Supervisor Ryan, when I first got appointed, called me to tell me that I was going to be appointed. And so ever since then, he took me under his wing and really mentored me in the first 3 years as a supervisor before I kind of got onto my own 2 feet. And he would share with me stories, and he would call me and say, you know, you're asking the right questions, but did you think about this? You know, and you want to get into transportation, these are the areas you need to be looking at, or these are the things you need to be thinking about. And so I really appreciated his support and his mentorship, and I really respect the work that he's done. It's a testament. 27 years is not easy. This job takes a lot out of you, and you know, to be able to be here and see his family and see, you know, the legacy that he has left over 27 years is really neat. And I really appreciate the fact that we get to name this space for him, and every time I drive through Kachina, I'll think of Matt. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. I usually start all my community meetings with, hi, I'm Adam Hess, I'm District 3 Supervisor, I'm not Matt Ryan, or I'm the new Matt Ryan. I don't say the new Matt Ryan very much, because the shoes this guy left, they're immense. I can't do it. I can only try to even just do the job, and I'm learning, and I'm trying to be just following your steps. As everyone said, coming out there and going door to door is so scary. To do that in our whole district is amazing. He probably doesn't know this, but huge inspiration. I didn't get to work with Matt. I got to follow in his footsteps, which is almost way harder. I wish I had that opportunity to just see you and do your work back in the day. I did get to see you on a couple of days when I was lurking in the distance, watching the meetings. But when I was leaving the Army, Matt gave me an opportunity to be an intern. And it sounds so weird to say that right now, but you know, we started as interns and we get here. So thank you. Thank you so much, Matt. You're an inspiration beyond words. And I'm up here trying, and I'm going to give a heck. So keep around, and I'll have some questions. Don't worry. I've been leaving you alone. I want you to go do your thing. But I got lots of questions, and just how do you go door to door is probably the first one. How do you not get shot? That's my first question. Because we got a different district that could happen. So that's my first. Safety is always my primary goal in every decision. And you know, sometimes which district, part of the districts we didn't go to, is my question to you. And thank you very much for everything you've left behind. You're an easy trail to follow because you blazed it wide. So thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to the family for being here and being very, very supportive, especially your wife. It takes someone to succeed, be successful, you know, when somebody's right behind them and the children, and now it's going to be your great-grandchildren and your grandchildren. And so you taught your kids well, and you were a prime example, you know, for them to be where they're at right now, educated, whatever, in order to move things forward. And I just want to say, when I first came on a board, Matt and I we love to have fun. We like to joke with one another, and so we would pick on one another because, when I had an issue, I'd go into his office, or he'd come by and say, "Are you okay? Do you need help? And he gave me some pointers as to how to go about certain things, that he's done that were successful. And so a lot of times, we spent time together, but I wouldn't go in his district because somebody was telling me, once you leave with him, he's going to bring you back in hours. So I was afraid, But anyway, I just want to say thank you for all the work and the acknowledgement of our indigenous peoples' cultures. We talked about that and how you tried to work that into the system as far as, helping our districts. So I just want to say thank you, Matt. And, a lot of things have been brought up by people that have come here, to talk about how Matt is. And he is, he's a friend, and he's very supportive, very helpful, and always checking on you to make sure that, you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed. And that's what I liked about Matt. And on the flip side of that, he's, I could tease him. For instance, when he was leaving, I don't know if he was happy or what, but he gave us all T-shirts that said, "Re-elect Matt Ryan." And I thought, oh my gosh, it's my chance to throw darts at it, So, but I just thought, those are things that he did. He really worked hard, and he made sure that we're all involved. He not only worked on his district, and he went outside, to help others too. So I really greatly appreciate you for that. And so, and everything that everyone has, you're a very true public servant, and it takes a person to have a big heart, a huge heart, as mentioned, that to go forward and use that, to get things done for the communities that they serve. In our district, in our Coconino County, we're the second largest county, and, we're doing that. And I appreciate all my colleagues here. There's a lot of work to be done, and, we all work together, and we like to work together. We're all here for one purpose, is to provide services to the people that are in need out there. So anyway, coming as a new board member, like I said, he was there with open arms, and that's the kind of person I like to deal with and work with. So up to this point, again, everybody's had their comments, and it's all the same. Your kids, they're all the same. And I was just standing here thinking, I wonder how his wife feels, to be amidst a person like that, And so it's something that's, very, I guess you really think about that, as a wife or a spouse, to someone that is very successful. And that's how he really was and is. So, but right now, I just want to say thank you for being that person, being there for us, and being there for the whole Coconino County as a whole. Thank you so much.
Hey, Matt. I was elected in 2008, and I served with Matt, Liz, and Mandy, who's here. They really learned a lot from them, and being a board, knowing how to be a board, to make decisions as a board, to support each other as a board, to follow the protocols as a board. And Matt, during the also the process of a board and making decision as a board. And I really miss you. I didn't want you to go. I begged you to stay, but, but, yeah, Teresa won. I was, yeah, it sure did take 7 years. And then in the end, it was always with his grandchildren down in Phoenix, or it's his turn. So it was just beautiful. Just and you know, when you leave your job that you love, and then finally to be able to be with your family, it's just a most wonderful thing. And that's what Matt did. So here I am. I was just elected. So we all sit down and we're going to eat. We all sit down. The first thing Matt does is he says, "What did you order?" Puts his fork in my food and starts eating it. And that's when I learned that Matt comes from a big family. So we share. Finally, our plates are all going around. We're all eating each other's food, and that's just the board. That's how much fun we had as a board. And we became very close, and I sure miss our board. And so we really worked on all these projects, developed policies, followed the policies, and then be able to we even did our first wind power in District 3. It was so controversial that we had to move the meeting to the high school, and it was filled up. And it was always trying to figure out how we're going to be making these decisions that was going to benefit the community. You're a public servant. True public servant doesn't serve for yourself. It's always benefit the community. How is this going to benefit the community? Looking into the future, not about you, not about this. It's for me. It was never that. So I just want to appreciate you and Teresa, and yes, I don't miss the 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m. text messages. I do miss our walking meetings, though. So anyway, I really could talk a lot about all the things that we've done. Just really help. The Highway 89 when it collapsed. We're just like what happened at 5:20 in the morning, and we had to figure out what we're gonna do. I turned to Matt, and I said, "Matt, I need you to go out there and help me with this project." So we went out there. It just so happens the next week we were flying to D.C., and so we were able to meet with Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick at the time, and all these other departments, and Mandy, Liz, and we were able to secure federal dollars, highway dollars, to be able to do an emergency repair there. And N20, then the new highway, came about as a result of that. So being able to react and address an emergency from fire to natural disasters, and being able to preserve land, and to be able to make sure that our citizens had the right even planning and zoning policies. We just went through all of that, and it was really great conversations that happened to be able to come to a decision. And what a great place for this place to be named after Matt, who loves his community, loves his family, and loves this place right here and throughout the county. We'd be driving along somewhere, and he would say, "And we live here. Oh, and don't you think we live here?" Yeah, that was, so thank you so much. Really appreciate everything that you have taught me, and have really, with a lot that you put up with also. So And Teresa, thank you so much. I won't be bugging you. I'm not bugging you anymore either. So thank you. So today I'm going to read a resolution from the board, 2024-47. This is a resolution that made this happen. A resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Coconino County, Arizona, approving the renaming of Pumphouse County Natural Area to Matt Ryan County Natural Area. Whereas Matt Ryan, with exemplary leadership, passion, and commitment to community, and served as Coconino County District 3 Supervisor for 27 years, and was the chair of the board in 1999, 2003, 2006, 2014, 2017, and 2021. I think it was every year we were a chair, because what we used to do is make sure all four of us took turns. That way there's not one chair all the way through. And whereas from 1975 to 1978, Ryan served in the United States Marine Corps, and in 1986 earned a bachelor's degree and secondary teaching certification from Northern Arizona University, and with his loving wife of 44 years raised their 3 children in Coconino County. And whereas Matt Ryan is recognized at the state and local levels for his leadership, serving on 25 committees and council, including the Arizona's Military Affairs Commission, Rural Transportation Advisory Council, National Counties Association, and Greater Flagstaff Forest Partnership. And whereas his accomplishments range from implementing targeted land use planning, creating park improvements and open space conservation, supporting dark skies, and sign ordinance that protect military facilities, and initiating and supporting the development of community wildfire protection plans. And whereas Matt Ryan enjoys working with people, is gifted educator, and is a fierce advocate for wise land planning and resource protection to ensure access to natural areas for generations to come. And whereas Matt Ryan was a significant supporter of 2002 county parks and open space, a parks, trails, and recreation enthusiast, contributor to the founding of the Friends of Coconino County Parks, and an activist for the natural resource protection. Thus, it is fitting to recognize his many accomplishments and tremendous commitment and dedication to Coconino County by renaming Pumphouse County Natural Area as Matt Ryan County Natural Area. I'm getting a little emotional. Now, there it be resolved in the consideration of the Board of Supervisors' authority to name county-owned parks, the board hereby approves the renaming Pumphouse Natural Area as described herein. August 23rd, 2024.
Get on over there.
Okay.
She's moving
Photo op, yeah, can you get in front?
Let me say, yeah, I'll introduce you guys. Is that okay? Yeah, is that okay? Oh. Oh, I was going to introduce you. Yeah, can I introduce you? Sure. Okay. So the county as a whole, Supervisor Hess, shoes to fill. Well, we're certain they're running shoes. And personally, I'll never go on a trail run without thinking about Matt. Nat, I see you're here and thinking about running hills. I was running a hill with Matt, and he said, you got to downshift, Andy. It's like a bike. You have to use a smaller crank. And I think about that all the time because it's so true. So it's our honor to introduce Teresa and Matt Ryan, our guest of honor.
She's shy. Actually, not at all. Well, yeah, I am a little bit speechless. You know, actually, think about last night, that rain we just had and how cleansing it was, and look at this gorgeous day that we have. And then look at all these cool people. I mean, really neat. You're bringing me all down memory lane. But the piece that I would say, and has been reiterated, is it's us. It's we as a community. The things that have happened, yeah, I have my name attached to it, but there are so many people, whether it's staff members or community members or other agencies. It's people that bring their hearts to the table and really care about the community and take care of each other. And it's not easy. You have to work through issues. But you pause for a moment, take a deep breath. Matt Ryanism. I like to turn Mary Poppins over instead of saying, I'm practically perfect. I'm practically perfect in every other way, which means I'm human. We're going to mess up. We're going to make things a little messy. But you know, it makes it even more beautiful when you go through that messy and it comes out. And you've created something together. And so it's been a sheer pleasure to work on behalf of our communities. And it goes so much more in so many other ways of other communities, our judicial system, our health, it's what puts us together and how we function together. And well, I'm pretty speechless at this point. You guys are wonderful. We've got wonderful people in our communities. We have everything to look forward to. Today's the beginning of the rest of my life. We have everything to look forward to. So, and that's true of all of us. I came with notes, and I'm going to say this and that, and you said it all. But there was then, and there's now, and we have so much more for the future that we can continue to work on, and stop and smell the flowers also. And so I don't have a lot to say because it's all about you. Thank you so much from my heart. You're wonderful. and thank you for being here. It's been a sheer pleasure for all the people I've been able to interact with over the years. And boy, once I start saying names, I get in trouble, so I'm not going to do that. Although Mandy used to be well, you are my favorite supervisor. I'm sorry, Mandy, but you're not on the board anymore. And so Patrice and Judy and Geronimo and Adam, yeah, my favorite supervisor. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Very good, Tess. I also do thank Teresa has been behind me all this way. The family first, and they did make sacrifices. A lot of you didn't know I had a family. She has a hyphenated name we could hide behind, but it would be like going. We would be in the supermarket, and somebody would come up to me, and the price of public service. That's where my family paid it. It's a person could be thinking about something for 5 years, and to them, it's really important, and they have you. And they've always looked for an opportunity to convey a concept, and so you stop and you listen, and you slow down, and give them the chance to express their concerns. And you can't promise things, but you can try and figure out something, or you can explain information. We're all educators, which means we all have to learn, and we do that kind of thing. And so my kids would go to the supermarket, and suddenly somebody with that 5-year idea would come up, and it would be, oh, Dad, uh-oh, we're here. We're in the supermarket. When do we go home? So anyway, to my family, I love you. My grandkids, oh, God, you guys are awesome. All you guys. Daniel, thank you so much for coming. And all you guys, you were already here, but you came, so thank you. So anyway, I'm a little bit speechless, but I'm very thankful. You know what I have going on right now? I have a spam call going on my watch. And what's with that? I used to lock out phone calls, and maybe I'll go back. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. It's a sheer honor, yeah, this is something special. For me, the importance is for the next generations. If we can just keep working on our values and to take care of each other, that's what it's all about. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey.
Okay. Thank you to everyone for being here today for this beautiful moment that we have for the Matt Ryan and his family. I'd just like to say that we did a resolution here, and I would like, we need a motion to approve the resolution and to name this beautiful park as the Matt Ryan County Natural Area. Do I have a motion?
I, Supervisor Lena Fowler, make the motion.
I need a second.
It's my honor to second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. The meeting is now adjourned. All right. Thank you.